Sometimes, right before a major quantum jump, life feels strange. It's not chaotic, nor is it entirely peaceful, but it's as if something deep under the surface is shifting in a way that you can't quite put into words. Conversations around you may start to feel a little hollow. Routines that once gave you comfort might suddenly feel irrelevant, and even your ambitions, those goals you once pursued with so much energy, start to lose their flavor. This unsettling feeling can be disorienting because the mind has been trained to believe that progress is always marked by constant activity, constant doing. However, what you're experiencing now is far from stagnation or apathy. It's recalibration. In quantum mechanics, before a particle shifts to a new state, it enters what is known as a period of uncertainty. Physicists refer to this as superposition, a moment where the particle holds multiple potentialities at once, none yet collapsed into reality. This is not a pause, it is the most dynamic state possible. In this state, every possible outcome exists simultaneously, and right now, you are in that very state. You are in a liminal space, standing at the doorway between timelines. The old version of you is dissolving, while the new version is forming within a reality that already exists in the quantum field. The human mind, conditioned to understand progress as linear and predictable, struggles to trust this process. It wants to see evidence, results, and steps. But the quantum field doesn't operate according to these rules. What you're feeling is the dismantling of your old vibrational blueprint. Imagine your life as a complex web of patterns, beliefs, and energetic signatures. For years, these patterns have anchored you to a specific timeline, but when your higher self decides it's time to move, the web begins to loosen. Threads snap, old energetic contracts expire, and the web starts to unravel. Because this shift occurs on the vibrational level before it appears in the physical realm, the first thing you notice is the stillness, the emptiness, the absence of your previous drive. This might feel wrong, like something is missing, but in reality, this is the clearest sign that something very right is about to unfold. Spiritually, many traditions call this phase the void. Mystics refer to it as the fertile darkness, the space where creation is conceived before it blooms into the light. In the void, your soul is reorganizing itself to match the reality you are calling into existence. During this time, the tools that you once used to navigate life may no longer work. They belong to the identity you are leaving behind. Your job now isn't to panic, but to breathe into the stillness and trust it. The silence is not empty. It is full of quantum information, reorganizing your reality in ways your conscious mind can't yet perceive. Science backs this up as well. Studies on neuroplasticity show that the brain needs periods of downtime to rewire itself for new patterns. As you step into a new frequency, your nervous system is adjusting, your brain's predictive models are recalibrating, and your body is learning a new energetic baseline. This recalibration phase is essential. You can't carry the chaotic frequency of the old timeline into the stability of the new one. You must release before you can receive. Picture the moment before a grand symphony begins. The lights dim, the audience grows silent, and the musicians take their places. That silence isn't wasted time. It is preparation for something powerful. Think of it like a bow being drawn before an arrow is released. The tension isn't a delay, it's the very force that will propel you forward. Right now, the universe is drawing you back. Not to hold you down, but to launch you into a trajectory that you could never reach with sheer effort alone. Here's the key. Many people misinterpret this phase and sabotage their own progress. They panic in the stillness, mistaking the void for a problem, and start scrambling to fill it with old habits or low-frequency distractions. But the more you resist, the longer you stay suspended between timelines. Those who make the leap are the ones who learn to lean into the quiet, who see it as proof of progress rather than absence of it. If you can shift your perspective, if you can see this strange calm as the quantum loading screen for your next chapter, you'll begin to notice subtle signals that the field is rearranging around you. Maybe a random conversation sparks a new insight, or an unexpected release of emotion clears your path. Perhaps you experience a sudden clarity about something that's been confusing you for months. These aren't coincidences. They are micro-adjustments in your frequency, aligning you with the new reality. If you're here now, feeling a little out of place, unsure of where you're headed, but certain that you can't go back, congratulations, you're in the exact vibrational space where transformation becomes inevitable. In the next moments, I will show you how to not only survive this phase, but to use it as rocket fuel for your quantum jump. Once you understand it for what it truly is, you'll stop resisting and begin moving towards your next timeline with clarity, trust, and the magnetic pull of inevitability. One of the most misunderstood aspects of a quantum jump is that it rarely begins with a dramatic burst of energy or a grand sign from the universe. More often, it starts with friction. Not the chaotic kind that throws your life into turmoil, but the subtle disorientation that arises when the things that once fit you no longer feel right. Relationships that used to bring comfort now seem constricting. Work that once gave you purpose feels hollow. Even your inner dialogue begins to sound foreign, as if it's coming from a version of you that no longer exists. This is the frequency mismatch phase, where your soul accelerates into a higher vibration, but parts of your life are still operating in the old one. In quantum terms, this is known as decoherence, when two systems, in this case your inner state and your outer reality, are no longer vibrating in harmony. The tension becomes impossible to ignore, but this tension is not a mistake. It's a signal that your current reality can no longer sustain the energetic blueprint of where you're going. Think of it like trying to run the latest software on outdated hardware. The system lags, glitches, and eventually crashes. Not because something went wrong, but because an upgrade is required. That upgrade is your quantum jump. Spiritually, this is where many people begin to question everything. Why does it feel like I'm falling apart when I'm supposed to be leveling up? But the truth is, you're not falling apart. You're simply falling out of alignment with your old timeline. This is the moment when things that used to serve you begin to fall away. People, habits, and even mindsets that once fit your vibration no longer do. This discomfort, this feeling of being out of place, is not something to resist or fear. It's the necessary friction that precedes a great leap forward. If you embrace it rather than fight it, you can navigate this space with ease and grace. So, if you feel like your life is falling apart, remember that it's not a sign of failure. It's a sign of progress. You are in the middle of a quantum recalibration, a profound transformation that is realigning you with the new reality you've been preparing for. Stay calm in the quiet. Trust the process. Know that every moment of discomfort is an invitation for growth. Your quantum leap is on its way, and it's coming faster than you think. And that dissonance is the exact force that will propel you toward the new reality you're stepping into. Imagine standing with one foot on each of two boats drifting in opposite directions. Eventually, you will have to choose one, and the one that aligns with your frequency will always feel like a relief, even though it may require you to leave the comfort of the familiar behind. Here's where most people get trapped. The mind, uncomfortable with uncertainty, tries to cling to the old. It tells you to fix what's breaking, to smooth over what's falling apart, to restore what's fading away. But in the quantum field, restoration of the old is actually a step backwards. What feels like a breakdown is simply the shedding of density, old beliefs, patterns, and identities that can't travel with you into your new timeline. If you rush to patch these things back together, you delay the jump. If you allow them to dissolve, you accelerate it. Physics offers us a metaphor here. When an electron jumps to a higher orbital, it must absorb a precise amount of energy, no more, no less. Once it reaches that threshold, it instantly transitions to the new state. There's no in-between. Similarly, your quantum leap happens the moment your frequency matches the reality you're moving into. Not when you force it, not when you push for it, but when you allow the old frequency to fully release so the new one can lock in. This is also why so much doing at this stage is counterproductive. The frantic need to fix, prove, or push is a sign that you're trying to bridge two incompatible realities with effort, and effort is always a slower mechanism than alignment. The quantum field doesn't care how hard you work, it cares how purely you vibrate. A single moment of clear resonance will do more for your shift than weeks of unfocused action. If you've noticed lately that certain things are falling away, friendships, opportunities, even aspects of your personality, try this. Instead of asking, "How do I get them back?" ask, "What is this making space for?" This simple shift in questioning changes your frequency from resistance to receptivity. In the quantum field, resistance is like static. It scrambles your signal. Receptivity is like a direct channel. It calls in the exact timeline that's already tuned to your desire. And here's the paradox. The more you try to rush this stage, the longer it lasts. Think of it as a necessary decompression chamber between who you were and who you're becoming. In scuba diving, if you ascend too quickly, you get the bends. Your body can't adjust to the rapid change in pressure. Spiritually, the same principle applies. If you try to leap without integrating the energetic changes, your system will pull you back to stabilize. This is why patience, trust, and presence are not passive states. They are active components of the jump. So, if right now your life feels like it's half erased, if you're standing in the rubble of what no longer fits, but can't yet see what's being built, you are exactly where you need to be. This is not a detour, this is the launch pad. The dissonance you feel is the energy winding up, ready to propel you into the reality that already exists for you in the quantum field. Your only job now is to stop gripping the edge of the old boat and let the current of the new one carry you. Here's the truth. Your quantum jump is not waiting for the right time, it's waiting for the right version of you. The moment you stop trying to fix what's leaving and start attuning to what's arriving, the field will snap into place around you. That's when the shift happens. Suddenly, seamlessly, with a sense of inevitability that will make you wonder why you ever doubted it. Right before a quantum jump, you might notice that your emotional world feels amplified, as if someone has turned the volume up on every feeling you have. One moment you're buzzing with excitement, certain that something extraordinary is about to happen. The next, doubt seeps in, whispering that maybe you're imagining it all. This isn't moodiness or inconsistency. It's the emotional signature of a system in transition. In neuroscience, your brain operates on predictive coding, meaning it constantly runs mental simulations of what it expects to happen based on past patterns. Even as your higher self pulls you toward a new reality, your subconscious is still clinging to the old blueprint, trying to run the outdated program because it feels safer. In quantum terms, this is superposition, the strange, fascinating state in which two or more possible realities exist at the same time. You are in both timelines, the old one you've been living and the new one you're stepping into. Your emotions are the flickers between them. When you feel surges of hope followed by waves of uncertainty, it's not a setback. It's a sign that your energy is oscillating between two states as the field searches for coherence. The stronger the oscillation, the closer you are to a collapse, the moment when one timeline becomes the only one. This is why emotional fluctuations before a quantum jump often feel intense. The stakes feel higher because your inner compass is recalibrating in real time. Every belief, memory, and attachment you've carried is being scanned by your consciousness. Does this belong in the new reality, or is this an artifact of the old? This process is emotional by nature because emotions are the chemical signals of change. They tell your body that you're in unfamiliar territory, and your body's instinct is to keep you safe, which often means holding on to what's familiar, even when it's not aligned. The mistake most people make here is interpreting the doubt as proof that they're failing. They think, if I was really close to my quantum jump, I wouldn't feel this much fear. But that's like thinking turbulence means the plane isn't flying. In fact, turbulence means you're moving through layers of atmosphere that require adjustment. Your emotions are adjusting to an altitude you've never flown at before. The faster you learn to ride the currents instead of gripping the seat in panic, the smoother the journey becomes. Here's a powerful shift in perspective. Instead of labeling your emotions as good or bad, see them as energy signatures. Joy, excitement, fear, uncertainty, they are all currents of energy moving through your field. None of them are inherently wrong. They're simply telling you where your focus is in this moment. If you react to your emotions as obstacles, you reinforce the oscillation. But if you observe them as indicators, you begin to stabilize your signal toward the reality you want. From a spiritual perspective, these amplified emotions are a form of initiation. The universe is essentially asking, can you hold your frequency steady even as the winds change? Because the timeline you are stepping into will bring new experiences, challenges, and unknowns. Your ability to remain coherent now is what prepares you to thrive later. In this way, emotional turbulence is not a test you can fail. It's the training ground that strengthens your vibrational stability. One practice that accelerates this stabilization is conscious neutrality. When the excitement is high, don't cling to it as the only sign you're on track. When doubt arises, don't treat it as a warning to turn back. Instead, breathe into both states, knowing they are temporary fluctuations within a much bigger trajectory. This conscious neutrality is an active tool for navigating through the quantum shift. By embracing both the high and low emotions without judgment, you create the space for your true frequency to settle into a consistent and steady state. It's in this state of equilibrium that you align more effortlessly with the timeline that's waiting for you. Instead of forcing or trying to fix, you allow things to unfold naturally. You trust the process. And the more you trust, the more the universe rearranges itself to meet you where you've aligned. As you continue to ride this wave, allow the process to unfold at its own pace. The tension is not something to avoid, it's the fuel that propels you. When you let go of the need to control, you release resistance and make room for the new. The quantum field will respond to the clarity of your frequency, and your path will open up in ways you never imagined possible. Trust that you are in the right place at the right time, and everything that's happening is a part of the shift that's taking you to your next level. The moment you stop resisting, your quantum jump will happen, and you will find yourself effortlessly moving toward your highest potential. Imagine yourself as the eye of the storm, calm and centered, observing the turbulence swirling around you, but never allowing yourself to be swept away by it. This state of emotional mastery is a clear indicator that you are on the brink of a profound transformation, just moments away from collapsing into your chosen reality. If lately your feelings have been fluctuating wildly, and it feels as though your emotions are on a roller coaster, know this: you are not unstable, you are in motion. The quantum field is adjusting itself to hold you within the frequency of the timeline you desire to step into. The more gracefully you can navigate these emotional waves, the faster the oscillation will settle into a single, solid reality. Soon, you will no longer flicker between different worlds. You will land firmly in the one you've been calling into your life. Most people imagine that the final test before a quantum leap is a stern, external judgment. a universe acting as a teacher, holding a red pen, waiting to mark their efforts. But in reality, this test is far more intimate and empowering than that. This is not the universe deciding whether you're worthy of your new life. Instead, it's your own subconscious conducting a final diagnostic, surfacing the last remnants of your old identity so that you can consciously choose to release them once and for all. You might suddenly find yourself confronted with the very challenges you thought you'd already outgrown. A conversation that triggers you in exactly the same way an old relationship did. A money situation that stirs up the same panic you felt years ago, or a wave of self-doubt that echoes a familiar voice from your past. These moments are not punishments or setbacks. They are mirrors, reflecting the frequency you used to inhabit, giving you one last opportunity to decide whether you still want to live there. From a neuroscience perspective, your brain craves efficiency. It tends to revert to well-worn pathways, those familiar responses, beliefs, and behaviors you've rehearsed for years. As you approach a quantum leap, these old neural patterns are still firing, hoping that you'll give them one last confirmation to remain in place. The only way to rewire them is not by force but through demonstration. You must behave as the new version of yourself, even when the old triggers are right in front of you. Each time you choose to respond from a higher frequency, you weaken the old neural pathway and strengthen the new one. In quantum terms, this is what's known as the collapse of the old probability wave. Until you make a new choice, both versions of yourself, the one who reacts from the past and the one who responds from alignment, exist simultaneously. But the moment you act in a way that aligns with your desired timeline, you collapse the reality of your old self, and the new one becomes the only active signal you're broadcasting into the field. This is why the challenges that arise right before a major shift feel so intense. They represent the final superposition between who you were and who you're becoming. Spiritually, this stage is less of a test and more of a ceremonial crossing. It's the moment when you stand at the threshold, holding the key to your new reality. The only thing the door asks of you is to respond from the frequency you've been cultivating. If you meet scarcity with gratitude, anger with compassion, and doubt with unwavering presence, you're not just symbolically ready, you are vibrationally locked into your new timeline. The field doesn't need to approve you, it simply mirrors who you are being. And in this moment, being is everything. The danger here is misinterpretation. Many people see these resurfacing challenges as proof that they're going backward. They think, if I'm still attracting this, I must be failing. But the truth is, the very appearance of these situations means you've shifted enough for them to be flushed out of your energy field. You can't clear what you haven't yet outgrown. The fact that you're aware of these patterns and even asking yourself how to respond differently is the clearest sign that you're almost there. Think of it like a simulation in a flight simulator. Pilots train for turbulence so that when it happens in real life, they already know exactly how to stabilize the plane. The final test, moments before a quantum leap, are your simulator runs. They give you the opportunity to embody your new state under conditions that would have once knocked you off balance. If you pass this test, meaning if you respond from your upgraded frequency, you're not just imagining your new reality, you are living it in real time. So, if right now you're experiencing tension, setbacks, or people from your past resurfacing, don't immediately assume you're stuck. Instead, see it as the clearest sign possible that you are brushing up against the threshold of your leap. This is the moment to hold your alignment the fiercest, to act as if the jump has already happened. Because in a very real quantum sense, it has. Anchor this decision into the field right now by typing in the comments, "I'm ready to pass the test." Let that be your quantum signal, affirming that you've already crossed into your new reality. Now, here's the thing that nobody tells you about a quantum jump. It rarely arrives with a parade. In movies, the big transformation moment is dramatic. There's fireworks, swelling music, and a clear before and after that you can't miss. But in real quantum reality, the leap often arrives quietly. One day, you wake up and notice that the fear you used to feel simply isn't there anymore. The problem that once consumed you somehow feels irrelevant. A conversation that would have triggered you last month now leaves you completely unmoved. The shift doesn't announce itself, it simply becomes who you are. And because it feels so natural, your mind may even try to downplay it, thinking, was that it? This is where understanding the nature of quantum change becomes crucial. In physics, when an electron jumps to a higher energy level, it happens instantaneously. There's no gradual build-up or fanfare. The transition is smooth and immediate, occurring as soon as the necessary energy is absorbed. Similarly, when you experience a quantum jump, it happens seamlessly. One moment, you are living in the old reality, and the next, you're fully immersed in the new one. The transition may be subtle, but it's undeniable. In the early stages, you may not notice the changes until you reflect on them. Your inner world becomes quieter. The things that used to trigger you no longer have the same effect. You may feel a sense of deep peace and clarity, even as the external world continues to shift around you. The quantum leap has already happened. You are now embodying it. The key to this transformation is letting go of the need for confirmation. Trust the process. Let go of trying to force, fix, or control. When you release the pressure and allow yourself to be aligned with the frequency of your desired reality, the universe responds. And when it responds, the shift is permanent. Your new timeline becomes your new truth. As you continue to navigate through this space, don't rush the process. Every moment of stillness is part of the preparation. The turbulence you feel is the adjustment phase, the recalibration of your inner world to match the new frequency. As you grow more comfortable with the quiet, as you stop seeking validation from external sources, you will start to see more and more signs of your new reality unfolding. Your journey isn't about arriving at a destination. It's about fully becoming who you already are in the quantum field. And once you fully align with that truth, the world around you will naturally reflect it. Your quantum jump is not just a distant goal, it's already in motion. All that's required is for you to step into it with full trust, clarity, and alignment. The more you embody your new frequency, the more seamlessly your new reality will manifest. The jump is no longer a distant dream, it is your current reality, unfolding with every conscious breath you take. There's no gradual climb, no visible struggle. One moment it's in one orbit, and the next, it's in another. That's exactly how timelines shift. The arrival of your new reality isn't about dramatic fireworks or grand gestures, it's about resonance. The old frequency, the one that once felt like home, drops away so completely that you can hardly remember why you ever clung to it in the first place. From a neurological perspective, this is the integration phase. Your brain has stopped firing the old circuits and started solidifying the new ones. You no longer have to force yourself to think differently. It simply becomes your new default. This is why many people miss the moment of their quantum leap. It feels like breathing. And that's the point. The version of you who exists in the new reality doesn't perceive it as a breakthrough. To them, it feels completely normal. Spiritually, this quiet arrival is the most powerful confirmation you can receive. It's the universe's way of telling you that you've matched the frequency so completely, there's no longer anything left to manifest. You're not waiting for it anymore, you're simply living it. There's a profound peace in this stage, a sense that you've stopped chasing and started inhabiting the life you've been calling in. And ironically, it's often when you stop searching for signs that you begin to notice them everywhere. Unexpected opportunities arise, people cross your path at exactly the right moment. Synchronicities start stacking up like breadcrumbs leading you forward. But there's a danger here. The temptation is to poke at the field, to revert back to overdoing, over-visualizing, or second-guessing, because you think manifestation always has to feel dramatic. But in truth, drama belongs to the old timeline. The new timeline is about flow. It's about trusting that just because the jump felt quiet doesn't mean it was small. In fact, the quiet shifts are often the most permanent because they happen at the identity level. These changes aren't just about your circumstances, they're about who you are being. This is the moment to embrace embodiment. Instead of asking, "Did it work?" you start asking, "How do I live fully as this version of me?" Every choice you make now reinforces the reality you've jumped into. Every action is no longer a desperate attempt to create change, but an expression of alignment. That's when the quantum field responds with even greater coherence, seamlessly weaving new possibilities into your life without effort on your part. So if you've been expecting your leap to feel like an explosion, pay attention to the subtle shifts. The quiet mornings when you feel lighter, the conversations that flow without tension, the sudden clarity about decisions that once paralyzed you. These are the hallmarks of arrival. You're already in the new reality. Now, your only job is to keep living in it. Here's the truth. If you've made it this far on this journey, it's not by accident. You're hearing this message because you've already been resonating with a higher timeline. You've been tuning into the frequency of the version of you that has everything you've been asking for. This isn't about getting there anymore. You are already there. Now it's about stabilizing, integrating, and expanding into this reality. In quantum terms, the leap you've made is just the beginning. The quantum field doesn't respond most powerfully to desire. It responds to coherence. And you've just proven to yourself that you can hold that coherence long enough to collapse an entirely new reality into being. The next step is to make this frequency your home. That means no more slipping back into the old patterns when life feels quiet. It means no more testing the universe to see if it's still working. It's about anchoring yourself so deeply in this new identity that it becomes unshakable. Remember, you're not here to force your life into shape. You're here to align with the reality that already holds everything you've ever wanted, and then watch it unfold with a naturalness that feels almost effortless. That's the beauty of living in harmony with the quantum. The more you align with this frequency, the more effortlessly everything you desire will begin to materialize. It's no longer about waiting or striving, it's about being. And when you reach this point of pure alignment, you'll realize that the universe was never really distant. It was always here, waiting for you to embody the very truth of who you've always been. So, let go of the need for external validation or dramatic signs. The signs are already within you, in the quiet space where everything aligns. When you stop looking for them, they will appear in the most natural, effortless ways. The leap is already yours. The only thing left to do is continue to embody it. Keep trusting the process, and trust the quiet power that comes from living in alignment with your higher frequency. I'll see you in the next video. Until then, stay coherent, stay present, and trust the quiet power of the leap you've already made. You've done it. Now, it's time to live it fully.